Wanted to do a product review of the Ultraspire Speedgoat 3.0 Waistbelt. This is my new go-to waist belt for longer races. It allows me to carry a lot more liquid than I could before. Comes with two 20-ounce bottles that you see here. Comes with the clear ones. I actually bought a couple more of the green type. I figured it would reflect the sun a little bit more, keep my liquids a little bit cooler, because these do seem to get hot pretty quickly. Anyway, I really like this waist belt. If you get it tight enough, you don't notice it bouncing at all. You can hear the liquids if you drink some slosh a little bit, but not too bad. It's a very flexible bottle. As you see here, I'm just very easily squeezing and the liquid comes out. So if you're squirting it in your mouth, you can easily get some pressure in there and squirt it in and take a drink very easily. Cap comes off pretty quickly. And then again, just like anything else, twist top. It's not too hard to refill these at an aid station really quickly. It's even pretty wide, so you can get a lot of ice cubes in there. Most normal size ice cubes you can actually put in there if need be. And it's wide enough if you have like packets of powder for your electrolytes. You can dump them in there without having to worry about spilling them all over the place, especially with some of those soft flasks. It can be a little tricky, but this, with being a hard flask, you should have no problem. Let you take a look at the inside real quick. This material does seem a little bit rough, but when you're wearing it, you really don't notice it. It keeps it in place. It is a meshy material. As I say, it's a little bit rough, but it's still bearable. It's not going to chafe you like some other brands do. With these bottles here, I'll show you real quick. You see how it's sort of on an angle? You sort of catch the one side right here on this little lip. Just sort of pull it out. I'll have to do it a little bit better. It just pops right out, slides right back in. A little bit harder to do when you're holding it and not wearing it. This pouch in the middle is pretty sufficient to hold some things like some wet wipes, collapsible cup, like a reusable cup if aid station's cupless. It's even got a thing in there for keys, need be. Again, you can fit your whole fist in there and stretch it out and zip it up. I guess I have normal size hands, so you could fit a lot in there. No phone or anything like that. Phone would be too big. But again, you could throw some extra tablets in there, some gels, stuff like that. No issue. And it doesn't bounce around at all either, because it's sort of the way it's made. It seems like it wants to fold down on itself. So when it does get full, it opens up a little bit, but when it's empty, it does fold down, so it's not like sticking up in the air or anything like that. So it is sort of made angled down a little bit. Then you got the front waist part itself. This material, a little bit more smooth than this whiter material. So if you're not wearing a shirt or anything, it's not too bad per se. I mean, you will get wet a little bit, but it is a little bit more breathable. I think that's also why this material is like that in the back, because it does stick out a little bit, and it's a little bit more, I would say, cushiony compared to some other brands. So I think it does absorb like the moisture in your sweat a little bit more. Let me see here, trying to think of some things to talk about this real quick. Again, the zipper works pretty good. It's even got this little like rubber thing on there, so you can hook your finger in there and zip it pretty easily. Now, to put it together, there's this little clip system. It's got this little metal clip like that. It just hooks into this thread. And that's how you collapse it. You don't have to worry about this rubbing you at all, because it's got this little flap here. Let me see if I can put it back on real quick. It does protect you from any chafing, even though there is a little bit of a gap right here. It doesn't rub you at all because the way it's set up, there's enough space so it doesn't rub you. The waist belt also does have these little cinch straps right here. That's for your trekking poles if you decide to use them. I have them, I'll show you in a second, but I have them taped up. I actually have this one tucked up in so it doesn't flap out. So otherwise, it would flap out in front of the vest. So if you're going to use them, you're going to use the trekking poles, obviously you want to have them out. But a little tip that I saw and figured out, so I just did it that way. So when I cinch it together, it stays in place so it's not bouncing around or flapping around as I run. Same with this one over here, I actually taped it together. The one downfall to this vest, and you'll hear a lot of people talk about it, is it doesn't want to stay tight. There's a couple different things people are using, like seat belt connectors or clips, because this material definitely doesn't want to stay in place. It's kind of rough, but it's really meshy. So when it gets wet and moist, or just bouncing around using it in general, it does want to come loose. So what I did is I just duct taped it together. I folded it onto itself and then tucked it up in. As you see this little light blue here, it's a little like pocket. Same thing with like a Solomon shoe. You know how you can tuck up your speed laces up in? It's the same thing here. You tuck up in a little part to make it tighter or looser. As you see there, you see what I did? I just folded the strap on itself and then duct taped it. So again, it's not flapping around in the breeze as I run. And then I just tucked it up in. Same with this other side. I'll show you that a little bit better. And again, there's your trekking pole strap, which I haven't tucked in. There's also this other little strap here that helps keep this side strap in place, but again, it doesn't really help at all. And this was my solution. Instead of buying those like seatbelt connectors, that way I know it's secure and it's not going to come loose with the duct tape. Now on the front here, you've got this nice little pouch. It is big enough for your average size phone, and that's where I usually put my phone at as I'm running. So it does stretch out pretty good. We'll say it's a good 6-7 inches. I would say close to 7 inches that you can stretch it out. You do not notice it. Your phone will not bounce if you put it in front, because it is a tight, stretchy material, and it does fold onto itself pretty good. So it's not like it's like a wide mouth the whole time. It does stay cinched to itself. And there's this little flap here if you want to pull it out as you're running to get in your pocket. It's also good for, if you have some gels or anything like that, if you want to put your tablets in there as well, or just any other little storage. I wouldn't put keys in there. I would use the keep your keys in the back with that little clip. So we'll just put this on real quick, a little better idea. To me, I like having things tight against my body. So there you are. This is how it sort of looks. See how it sits in my back? Out a little bit. It sits pretty good. You don't really notice it at all. All you do is pull it out. So that's what all you do. Sort of pull it out to the side and then up. When you stick it down, I always get my hand, and when I push it down, I sort of push it into that little arch section there. And again, reach around the back. Not a big deal to reach anything out of there. Same with the front here. Again, you could use that strap. Me, I I'm a little lazy when I don't use the strap. I just pull it like that. And again, you got a whole bunch of room there. Get you a little bit closer there. So there's your strap to pull it out. And again, there would be your trekking poles. I don't mind this at all because, like I said, it sets comfortably where it needs to be. It's at the right height around your waist. And the way it's angled away from your back, it's not digging in your back, especially if you're wearing a shirt. I'll get to this in a second about any chafing that you might have. But as long as you keep it tight on your body, you're going to have no issues whatsoever. The thing is making sure you strap it and cinch it down tight so there's no bounce in the back. Because I will say this, the first day I tested it out, I didn't have it tight enough, and I did get a lot of bounce. But once I cinched it down pretty tight around my waist, then there was no more bounce. It felt, let me put it to you this way. If you don't cinch it down tight enough, it's going to feel like it's bouncing off your butt a bunch. And I don't like that. Maybe some people do, I don't. Now I will say this, if you're not going to wear a shirt, you have to be careful. You're going to actually have to figure out where these bottles touch your back. At least with me, in my body shape, they did dig into my back a little bit. As you see right here, where's that mark? I do have a little bit of mark from a couple weeks ago, so it did dig into my back a little bit and rub that raw. So the solution is I'm going to have a little KT tape from now on and put in that section just so it doesn't rub me raw. But other than that, that was really the only issue I've had with that. Any chafing or anything like that. Same with the front. I did get a little bit, like one of my gut sticks out a little bit. The front did rub me just a little bit, but that's going to be normal just because I got a little bit of a pouch in the front. And I forgot to mention when I was doing the back here, right in here, on each side, you actually have a little bit of a pouch as well. Another spot for some gels, if need be, on the one side. Same with this other side. The other side's actually got like a nice little pull tab. I don't know why this one doesn't, unless they just forgot it on this side. Whatever the case may be, it's got a nice little pull tab that you can fit a couple more little gels or anything like that, or tablets. Just something small in there. So you do have a little bit more storage there. It's kind of a hidden compartment. These two things right here are kind of hidden. Just look at that light blue mesh, stretchy. I mean, you can't put a hell of a lot in there, but again, you know, probably 2 or 3 gels on each side, if need be. What I do is I actually put wet wipes here on both sides. Just because, you know, if you get those wet wipes that are squarish, like throwaway type things, they fit really nicely in there. And me, again, I use this pouch for my electrolyte tabs, powder, and my reusable cup for an aid station / keys. And in the front, I have my phone in there, just so everything's handy. And the weight's pretty much evenly distributed throughout the whole belt itself, which is really nice. And I recommend this at all. Like I said, the only 2 issues that I have with the vest are you got to figure out your own little clamping system to keep the straps in place, but you want it as tight as possible so there's no bounce. And you will have a little bit of chafing depending on your body size, where the bottles will hit, like the calves a little bit. Again, depending on your body size. I just got one of those weird shapes, so it sort of digs in because it sort of angles in a little bit with my body shape. But say if you're like skinnier, they're going to stand straight up, or if you're like a bigger person, they're going to push out. I just have that one little higher, I guess. But these bottles also, that holds them in place is pretty stiff. Some other ones, once you get them wet, they sort of stretch out, but these got like a harder material which actually keeps the bottles in place and snug. And that was one of the concerns I had, was if the bottles are actually going to stay in place and how easy they are to get in and out. I've used this for 70 miler and a 50K already. And I'll tell you what, it is a game changer being able to have two 20-ounce bottles that do not bounce and are easily accessible, compared to some other belts that I've had and reviewed that do bounce a little bit and are a little bit more pain in the ass to get in and out. So the Ultraspire Speedgoat 3.0 is my go-to. You're not really supposed to wash it. I washed mine, so you see some of the lettering in the front. It's already starting to come off, but that's just going to be normal wear and tear for me because this smells and I'm not going to hand wash it, even though that's what they recommend. And I also recommend getting a couple extra bottles, getting them in like the green, or I think there's like a light blue as well, just so if you're running in like hot weather, the sun reflects off the colors more than the clear. Just the same way as a lot of milk manufacturers have like a white bottle or like a yellow, because if you have clear milk inside, it gets a little bit hotter quicker. It's the same principle with these, and the same with the green. See how squishy that is? Well, I also don't have the lid on tight, but either way. So when I open it up, see how easy that is? You're going to take a drink. So yeah, definitely recommend the Speedgoat 3.0 over some of the other waist belts on the market right now. You won't regret it. It's pretty cheap as well. And with this one, Speedgoat 3, you actually have some accessory options. So in the front here, we have the normal phone, what I'm going to call the phone pouch. I don't know what the nickname is for it, but you can also interchange it with the lumen front, so you can put your light on. And I'll review that here in a second, but it is a nice interchangeable waist belt. So Ultraspire does give you some options to customize this with how you want the front, and some of their other waist belts as well. So check them out, give it a try, and let me know what you think, because I think this will be a game changer. If you do not prefer a vest, which I don't, because I feel a vest chafes me a lot more and it makes me a lot hotter. I prefer waist belts when possible for shorter races. We'll say anything from up to a 50K, maybe even a 50 miler where there's 8 stations are pretty close, but where I don't need to take a vest, I can get away with 2 20-ounce bottles. This is definitely the way to go.